It doesn't get much bigger or more explosive. Conor Benn and Chris Eubank Jr. aren't just stepping into the ring for fight. They're walking into a generational reckoning that's been simmering decades with a bloodline. Rivalry that echoes through British boxing history and a stadium packed with over 60,000 fans ready to erupt. This isn't just a headline bout, it's a war dressed as sport. And Eddie Hearn? He's fanning the flames with a firestarter's grin, hyping Benn like he's a heat-seeking missile on a one-way path to destruction. But beyond the noise, the lights, and the legacy lies the cold truth. When that first bell rings, history doesn't fight heart. Eddie Hearn wasn't just promoting a fight on Tuesday. He was setting the stage for something that feels bigger than boxing. Under the London sky at the Grand Arrivals, he had that familiar glint, the kind that says, "I've seen the future and it's explosive." He wasn't just introducing Conor Benn as a fighter. No, Hearn was painting him as a force of nature, a relentless engine with fists like sledgehammers and tunnel vision destruction. He compared Benn to a machine, saying if there were a way to program him, there'd be no need for a training camp, just push a button and watch the chaos unfold. It sounded wild, almost theatrical, but that's the Eddie Hearn experience. And yet, beneath the flair and fast-talking was a real sense of conviction. You could feel it. This wasn't just another payday. It was personal, it was historic, and it was loaded with risk. Benn isn't just fighting for glory, he's walking into a legacy with heavy boots, and the echoes of his father's wars are already in the air. But what made this moment electric wasn't just Hearn's delivery, it was the emotion threaded through every word. He wasn't speaking like a promoter trying to fill seats. He was speaking like a man who knows he's sitting on a powder keg. Because what's unfolding at Tottenham Hotspur Stadium isn't your average grudge match. It's a revival. The names. Eubank and Benn don't just carry history, they scream it. Decades ago, Chris Eubank Sr. and Nigel Benn were locked in one of the fiercest rivalries British boxing has ever seen. Now, their sons are about to drag that rivalry into a new era. It's a moment that feels like time folding in on itself, an entire generation's drama being passed down like a family heirloom. And Hearn, standing center stage, knows exactly what's on. "This is a once-in-a-lifetime fight," he said, and the weight in his voice made you believe it wasn't just hype, it was prophecy. And when he talks about Conor Benn, you can see he's all in. He believes Benn isn't just talented, he's a weapon. A big welterweight, he emphasized, someone built to absorb pressure and fire back with tenfold intensity. But more than size, it's the mentality that matters. Hearn claims the version of Conor showing up this Saturday is the sharpest, cleanest, most dangerous iteration of the man yet. And if that's true, it's going to take more than strategy to stop him. It's going to take someone willing to go into deep waters and stay there. Because Benn doesn't back off, he doesn't let up, and when he smells blood, he finishes. That's what Hearn wants the world to see, that Conor isn't just fighting in his father's shadow, he's casting one of his own, one that stretches, long and wide across boxing's modern map. Still, it would be foolish to overlook the man standing in the opposite corner. Chris Eubank Jr. isn't some cardboard cutout thrown in for drama. He's the real deal. A veteran with experience, IQ, and a name forged in fire. He's not here to be a prop in Conor Benn's story. In fact, he might just be the one who rewrites the ending. Hearn knows that. He even called it a 50-50 fight, admitting this. Thing could tip in either direction with a single punch. That's what makes it so gripping. This isn't a walkover, this is chess with gloves. Eubank Jr. has been around longer, has fought the tougher competition, and knows how to stay calm in chaos. While Benn fights with fire, Eubank fights with focus. And when those styles collide, raw aggression versus calm calculation, anything can happen. That's the hook, that's the suspense. And that's exactly why this event feels like it could shake the sport. So as the countdown ticks and the tension builds, one thing is crystal clear. This fight isn't just about who's better in the ring. It's about legacy. It's about pressure. It's about answering the questions that have echoed through British boxing circles for decades. Can Conor Benn rise above the weight of expectation and deliver something unforgettable? Can Eubank Jr. hold the line and show the world why experience still matters? Hearn might be the one selling the tickets, but the fighters are the ones writing the story. And when that bell rings at Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, 65,000 fans won't just be watching a brawl, they'll be watching history rumble to life. There's a certain irony in the way this fight is unfolding, because while the world sees Benny as the young lion with everything to prove, the pressure pressure might actually rest heavier on Eubank Jr.'s shoulder. He's been here before, under the lights, with the media dissecting every move. He's the one who's had to carve out his name in a world where his father's legacy looms large. And now here comes Conor Benn roaring into the spotlight with unbeaten momentum, public backing, and raw intensity. It almost feels like a role reversal. Eubank Jr., once the rising star, now stands as the seasoned gatekeeper, tasked with shutting the door on the next generation. That changes the psychology of the fight. It's not just about landing punches, it's about carrying weight, and that emotional weight could be the very thing that defines this bout. Can Eubank Jr. still command the spotlight, or will he crumble? Under the shadow of a surging, unapologetic Benn, and it's not just legacy, it's the bloodline drama that keeps fans on edge. The history between the Benn and Eubank families isn't just promotional fluff, it's real. Nigel Benn and Chris Eubank Sr. didn't just fight, they made war. Their two battles in the 90s weren't just boxing matches, they were cultural events. Pride, pain, and personal grudges spilled across every round. Now their sons are being thrust into that same storm, but here's the twist. This generation isn't just carrying on the rivalry, they're rewriting it. There's no scripted hatred between Benn and Eubank Jr., but there's an unmistakable tension, respect laced with resentment. It's not about rehashing the past, it's about proving who owns the future. Every glance, every word in their face-offs feels like a test of will. The emotion is quieter, more calculated, but just as deadly. This isn't a soap opera, it's real, and it's unfolding in front of the world. What also makes this moment so gripping is the sheer unpredictability of it all. You look at Benn, 23 fights, 23 wins, 14 knockouts, and you see a storm. He fights like he's chasing something bigger than belts. He fights like he's trying to silence every doubt ever spoken about it. But that same intensity can backfire. Against a technician like Eubank Jr., one mistake could cost everything. And that's where this clash becomes more than just physical, it's psychological warfare. Can Benn channel his energy without burning out? Can Eubank Jr. stay calm under fire long enough to expose the cracks in Benn's armor? These aren't just tactical questions, they're existential ones for both fighters. Whoever figures it out first might not just win the fight, they might shift the entire landscape of British boxing. And then there's the crowd. 65,000 people packing into Tottenham Hotspur Stadium isn't just a backdrop, it's a living, breathing part of it. That kind of energy can lift you to greatness or drag you into panic. For Benn, it's his first time under lights this bright. For Eubank Jr., it's a return to the spotlight he once ruled. That pressure can do strange things. Sometimes it brings out brilliance. Other times, it cracks the foundation. One thing's for sure, the noise, the atmosphere, the raw, roaring pulse of the crowd is going to play a role. Every missed punch, every landed shot, every second of silence between rounds will feel louder than ever. And in those moments when everything's spinning, we'll find out who's really built for this stage. At the end of the day, what makes this fight so compelling isn't just the fighters, it's the feeling that something rare is about to happen. You don't get these moments often in boxing. Moments that feel personal, historic, unpredictable. Eddie Hearn knows that. That's why he's selling it with every fiber in his being. But deep down, even he must know. This thing is out of his hands now. The fighters have to live it. Conor Benn, the storm with a surname. Chris Eubank Jr., the calm before that storm. When the bell rings, names, narratives, and predictions all get stripped away, it'll be fists, heart, and will. One night, one ring, and the eyes of the world watching two legacies collide in the most unforgiving theater there is.